shall I render to the Lord for all his bounty to me?
Welcome to Veiled in Grace. I'm Kyra.
And I'm Anna. We are Cradle Orthodox Christians
And we're here to talk about what it's like to be an Orthodox woman.
in a very non-Orthodox world.
And today we have a very exciting topic because, as Anna cringes, it is probably one of the top 3 things that I think about when I think about Orthodox women and social media, which we've talked about in the past. And if you're in any Orthodox groups online, you will probably agree that the top 3 things discussed are head coverings, which we'll get into at some point, and Halloween, which we'll get into at some point, and yoga, which we're going to get into today.
Great.
So this whole episode isn't going to be specifically about yoga. Our goal is to talk about what the importance of moving our body is and being active and taking care of our body is as Orthodox women. But one way that a lot of Orthodox women stay active is through yoga. And it's a very hot topic. And we will dive into the specifics of where you should maybe back off or not back off, or in our own opinions, what we think of that. But before we get into the specifics of yoga itself, I want to know about your history with yoga, Anna.
Okay, so I, growing up, was a gymnast, and I also played soccer and softball. And then once I quit gymnastics, I became a cheerleader. And then in college, I gained the freshman 15 and
No one ever does that.
and realized I needed to be a little more active. So I started going to the gym, but I hate going to the gym, like despise going to a gym and like working out with like weights and machines. Like I hate it a lot.
When you walk in and have no idea what you do on any of the machines and just look around and you're
it's
like,
just
I'm
so-
supposed to be here, but I don't know what to do.
It's so boring to me, like, because I was an active person. I liked an active workout. So I've always been drawn to like rock climbing or things, bike riding, things like that. So I was living in New York City, and something that was gaining in popularity there that I had heard about was yoga. So I was like, oh, I'll try that. And I tried it, and I loved it. It felt so good to my body. It wasn't boring. And I did hot yoga, and it's in, what's it called? Vinyasa flow or whatever.
Yes.
So it was power yoga. So it felt like a workout, not really just stretching or meditation or anything. It was more intense. So I never thought of any reason why I wouldn't do it. Because to me, it was just exercise.
And it felt good.
And it felt good to my body. Because as a gymnast, you put a lot of stress on your body, and maybe that's why I like working out with weights and stuff. It just didn't feel good. But yoga felt really good, and that I could be strong and flexible still and detox with the hot, the heat in the yoga. And it seemed great. And honestly, I never heard that Christians shouldn't be doing yoga. I think honestly, probably the whole time I was living in New York. It just never.
So you started doing yoga when you got to New York. So when you were like
Yes.
college age.
Yes.
Had you heard of yoga or done yoga before then?
No, that was my first time. I think I was still in college. If not, I was like just out of college.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
then you continued on until
I didn't
when
do
you
it
moved away.
intensely. Like it was just kind of a random time when I would do it, or I would do it at home with a video. But again, nothing super consistent. but enough to just keep my body moving, alongside walking every day and bike riding occasionally with my girlfriend. So yeah, then I moved back to Pennsylvania, and our church has all these pamphlets of random questions that people have about Orthodoxy. And one of them was, should Orthodox Christians practice yoga? And I was like,
And you were like, why shouldn't we
yeah,
practice
I was
yoga?
like, why? I didn't even know this was in question.
Yeah.
I mean, and this was years now that I had been doing yoga. And so I read it, but it didn't didn't compute. Like, it didn't make sense.
Thank you for your input.
Yeah.
Let me close this and put it back on the
Yeah,
shelf.
it was just kind of like, huh, that's interesting. I don't know. I don't see it that way. Like, it didn't make sense to me. And so I continued still doing yoga.
Often, right?
Yeah, I mean, not more than once or twice a week, but
Well, yeah, but that's
Yeah.
often. A lot of people live really sedentary lives, so doing anything a couple times a week.
yeah. So, and I did it like all through my pregnancies, and yeah, I didn't really understand why this would be harmful for the Christian life.
Yeah.
And if I'm being completely honest, it is very confusing.
It is very confusing. And that's what I've found on the internet a lot too, is that the opinions are so divided. And I think it's because there are a lot of people that feel similarly to how you felt.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, thank you for giving me your input. I'll just come back to that at a later date and keep doing what I'm doing.
Yeah, and I did that for a long time. It's almost like, because it's sold as exercise, and it really is, like, a lot of it does take some Pilates exercises and mixes it in there. So then it gets real confusing as to like,
yeah.
why can't I do this?
Yeah, our local gym has like a Pilates fusion
Right.
that I keep looking into. And then you go to the description and it's like, oh, it's a yoga Pilates class.
And so honestly, that's probably what a lot of them are mixed in with Pilates. So then it just really confuses, like, well, then how is this different from Pilates? Or why is this? And I mean, and I always say this, and like, a lot of the positions are natural, like corpse position. I lay like that every night when I go to bed, so like a lot of the positions are natural positions, but then there's other ones that aren't. And I've learned that it's not even just the positions, but it's more the flow from one position to the next, that flow and the continuity is the prayer to the Hindu gods or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't even.
So we have a similar background in the sense that we both did yoga. You did yoga much more frequently, I think, than I probably did into adulthood. But we have both reached a point that we stopped doing yoga. And I can share here in a minute a little bit of what my past looked like and to what degree I did yoga. But maybe you could talk about why it was that you semi-abruptly, would you say you abruptly stopped doing yoga, or was it a gradual thing?
I had been just mulling it over in my head for a long time, of trying to understand why this doesn't mix with Christianity.
And what would you say you found? What was your like drawing factor? And if you were to speak candidly with someone that asked you, should I do yoga?
I had seen a video by an Orthodox priest explaining all about why Christians shouldn't do yoga. Because I was like, okay, I really want to understand this. Like, I need to
make it make
yes,
sense to
make
me.
it make sense to me. Like I've
Give
said
me
before,
the exact reason
please
why
explain it to me. Like, that little pamphlet didn't do
Yes.
it for me. It didn't quite explain it in the right way, I guess. I don't know. Sometimes I think there's just a cloud, or it's the enemy that's just, putting a veil over your eyes and you just can't see clearly. And honestly, I really, even up to the last time I did it, I remember I bought a new yoga mat and then quit like right after I bought that mat. And I was like, well, that was great.
This one
And I
I'll sit in
actually
the
quit, and
corner.
I think I still have gift certificate to the yoga place that I just gave up, and I'm like, nope, I'm not going to do this. It was, again, surrendering. Even though it didn't make sense to me and I didn't understand it fully, if this is what the church teaches, I need to be obedient and just find something else that feels good with my body, that is still respecting my body, and taking care of it, but does not have a spiritual aspect to it. Even if it's not really part of the class anymore, or the instructor's intention, the basis of yoga is a Hindu prayer to Hindu gods.
Yeah,
So,
and that's what really, I think, drew the line for me, because a lot of my reason for stopping was just conversation with other Orthodox people, conversation with my husband, who I think we had already been married, or like early in our marriage, we had conversations about yoga. And our conversations revolved a lot around the concept of what yoga is. Like what, and that's what I tell people, like look at what yoga is. You can see the beautiful things that can be done for your body and benefits that it has for your body. But you also, if you look back to the past and realize the origins of it, you will find that the origins of it are not Christian, and you can't really twist it in any way to make it Christian, which to me, I was always like, well, I just told myself for a long time, I'm not doing it with the intentions of doing not Christian things. Like that's
right.
not
If
my
I'm
intentions.
meditating, I'm
If
meditating on
I'm,
Christ.
yeah,
Or
I'm not doing it to meditate on false gods or this or that. But I don't know who or how this had came about, but someone had shared with me at one point. They were like, yeah, you can't really do like a little bit of bad and then just say it's okay. Like you can't just be like, I'm just going to dip my toe into evil things. And as long as I just don't believe that they're evil things, then I'll be fine. And I think that was what really opened my eyes. I was like, yeah, I guess that is true. I mean, it's how I approach a lot of different concepts and things that people do in the very secular world. And I look at it and go, well, is it inherently Christian? Is it inherently good? Is it something that God would want us to do? And if it's even slightly not, then we're better to err on the side of caution and not do it, which I think comes slowly to some people, which it sounds like it did to you. It's hard to tell your heart and your mind that this is okay. I've read things that have told me that it's not okay, but as long as I say it's okay, I'll be fine. And then you get to the point like you did where it just finally, you're like, I can't. It doesn't settle well. I don't feel great about it, and I need to move on.
And I need to find something else.
Yes, because when I was younger, I got exposed to yoga when I was in high school, like early high school, which was probably around the same time that you were in college doing it. And I found a hot yoga studio with my friends. So I also did hot yoga. Loved it. Every Friday, we did hot yoga. So once a week, every Friday, we met there. We did hot yoga. We felt great. We were sweating a lot. We were not putting any thought into anything else other than this being great exercise, and blissfully went on doing yoga. And I think that's part of where the difficulty comes in, is that yoga wasn't as, I mean, people have been doing it for a long time, but it wasn't as popular, and it wasn't like there was a yoga studio on every block in every city until more recent 15 years ago.
Yeah.
And so it's hard to fault other people or the church or the communities that we grew up in for not teaching us about yoga when it was something that they didn't know about.
Yeah. No one knew.
They
Like,
can't,
I mean, I guess
can't
people did.
tell
I don't-
you, yeah, like they can't tell you to not, like that something is bad when they don't even know what it is.
Right.
And that's how I looked at it too. And
And many priests didn't know.
the
didn't
dangers of something
understand.
because
Yeah.
they didn't even know what it was.
Right.
And the really dangerous part about that, and what makes me look back and reflect on things, is when it comes to teaching children. So I have my teaching degree, went to school for teaching, taught in public schools, never full time, but like I have taught in public schools. I've taught in a private charter school in a city. And at the private charter school, part of our daily routine was just movement. And I remember teaching lessons where I was teaching yoga, and I had no idea what I was even really teaching to them. And that's part of the reason why I think people should start doing more research on things before we just blindly start teaching it to children. Because otherwise they get to the point like we were, where you do yoga for a long time and you don't even know what it actually is. And then you find out what it is and you're like, oh, maybe that wasn't the best thing.
Or you're in denial. Like,
Or,
no.
or you're in denial. Yeah. But
like I was for many years.
yes, but these young little children that I was teaching, 7, 8 years old, little kids, they have no idea what yoga is other than the fun movements
Yeah.
that I teach them. How to be a tree, how to do this, how to do that. And then they go home and they're like, we love yoga. It's so much fun. It's really easy for a parent to go on the internet and yoga for kids.
Yeah.
Here's yoga for kids. So we have to be really careful with what we teach our children. And that is one of the hard parts of public school, and even, you know, these private charter schools and things of that sort, which I know we'll get into when we talk about schooling, is that your children can be taught things that might not align with orthodoxy, and you might not even know. You might not know what you need to tell them because you don't even know that that's happening. Like these kids, half of them might have went home and said, oh, we did this today. I'd like you to look some up so we could do it. But the other half might have gone home and said nothing, and they just come to school and do yoga every day. And their parents have no idea that they're at school doing yoga every day. So I kind of ignorantly did yoga for a long time. I mean, not crazy long time, but probably 5, 6, 7 years, and had no idea, like you said, no idea that it didn't align with orthodoxy. No idea what the origins even were.
Yeah.
Until I started researching more and having conversations with other Orthodox people that were gently, which is very kind of them. And if you ever go to approach this topic with someone gently, you should inform them of what yoga is and the origins of it. And I'm thankful to my husband for that, because I think my husband was much more aware that doing yoga wasn't a wonderful thing before that was even brought to my attention. But he wasn't there to tell me, hi, you need to stop doing yoga now. It's not good for you. It's not this. It's not that. You should stop it. He kind of slowly would drop the hint here or drop the hint there that, you know, maybe there's other types of exercise you could look into. What's the main point in doing yoga in the first place? The main point that we were doing yoga, and a lot of people do yoga, is because they want to move their body. They want to
Feel strong. And flexible enough to just move. Yeah.
Yes, they want to, and I'll give it to people that do yoga, and because I have friends that do yoga very regularly, People that do yoga are probably some of the most committed to exercising regularly of anybody that I know. They regularly show up to put taking care of their body first. And that's what we should focus on. Not doing something that might not be honoring God, but doing something that is honoring our body. What does God tell us about the way that we should be caring for our body?
Well, from just creation, the body and the soul together form the human person. So whatever we do with the body affects the soul. Whatever we do with the soul
Yes.
affects the body.
The whole, we can't just like, I'll just dip my body into doing something that's not
Right. And
aligned
that's
with orthodoxy, and my soul will stay over there.
right, right. Even if we're saying, oh, because this is what I told myself. Oh, well, I could even be saying the Jesus prayer while doing yoga. But
Those don't go well together.
yes, so the incarnation affirms the goodness of the body. Christ took on flesh. So Christ became a body, and a man.
And he took his body with him.
Right, right. And we know that the body is the temple of the Holy Spirit. So we know it's important to move and exercise and take care of our bodies.
To eat well.
Right. But it's, again, not disconnected from the soul. It's all one, and one affects the other. Saint Basil the Great, he emphasizes moderation and caring for the body as a servant of the soul, not its master. And also, we know in Orthodoxy, we do prostrations and we fast and we go on pilgrimages where you might have to hike a lot of steps or mountains to get to places. And these are all like good movements and things good for the body and the spirit together.
I feel like every monastery is like purposefully built on a hill.
Hard to get to. So people, persecutors, it would be harder for them to get to. When I went to Meteora in Greece, it's the most beautiful place I've ever been to in my entire life. And there's all these monasteries on top of these rock formations. And it was because they were trying to get away from the sea where all the pirates were. And so they would build up in the inland on these rock formations. But to get there, you have to climb so many stairs. But back in the day, there weren't stairs. Like you had to rock climb, or they would pulley things up. And so many people died making these monasteries because they obviously didn't have the technology
Well, when I went to not Greece, but to Pennsylvania to the monastery, it wasn't rock climbing, but I did go all the way down to the entrance and back up the hill. And I was
got out of breath.
and I was tired by the time that I got to the top.
Yeah, and even monastics, they usually make it a point to be hiking or walking every day and moving their bodies, or just prostrating over and over all day long.
We pray with our body.
Yeah.
So the way that we treat our body, the way that we take care of our body or don't take care of our body is a direct reflection on how we are giving thanks or not giving thanks to what we were given. And we don't want to take for granted that God gave us this body. It is our own temple to care for. And exercise is a really big part of that. So just because someone doesn't want to do yoga doesn't mean that they can't exercise at all. We didn't stop doing yoga and then start living a sedentary lifestyle, or at least I didn't. When I stopped doing yoga, I started going on very long walks with children and dogs, very long walks. I mean, my husband and I would walk almost every day, an hour down to a local lake from our house just to get outside and breathe some fresh air and do something that was relaxing. and your body still feels good afterwards. Your body feels great after walking and being out in the open and taking in your surroundings, listening to the things that are happening around you and being present, even more than being in a sweaty studio, interestingly enough. But when I had moved, I say recently, but it's been a few years now, but when I moved away from the lake that we were living by, I wanted to get into more frequent exercise because I felt like, well, we can't go walk on the road that I live on anymore. It's just not as feasible. And I do have property that we could walk on, but I don't love hiking every day. So we made it a more regular habit to go to one of our local gyms. So I took up spin class. I do that occasionally. More recently, I have started just exercising in the pool. I love getting in the pool and just swimming around.
Water
and,
aerobics.
yeah, just like moving my body and feeling like you're free, like you can just be. It really feels good afterwards. So just because I'm not doing yoga classes doesn't mean that it can't easily be replaced by something else. Have you found something else that you enjoy in place of doing yoga?
So like I said, the main reasons for why I loved yoga was to keep somewhat flexible. I don't need to be doing crazy flips anymore, but I just want to be able to.
You can't do flips like that anymore?
No. I remember the first time after I came back from college and I came home and I tried to do a back walkover and fell on my head. And I was like, Mom, why can't I do that?
No.
She's like, well, have you been practicing? I was like, no. She's like, well, Anna, you're older now. You have to practice daily if you want to keep these skills. Like, I had left being able to do backflips. And then all of a sudden I fall on my head trying to do a back walkover. It was like, I am really impressed when adults can still do flips and things because I lost my ability very, very quickly.
Splits.
So, So I just wanted to keep basic flexibility, maybe do a back bend, or get into a bridge position. Even that's still really hard for me. But so I liked the flexibility aspect. I liked the strength, just feeling strong and building muscle, but not having to do boring weightlifting. It drives me crazy.
There's
So, doing something that I could.
Weightlifters out there that are extremely offended.
Yo, my husband loves it and it's great for him. I despise it. No offense to anyone. It's just me. So that, and then the detox part of it, the hot sweating detox. So flexibility. I was a gymnast, so I know how to stretch, just regular stretches. So I can do that and not have to, be doing all these weird contortions to be flexible still. But I always say, like, is there really anything wrong with downward dog? You watch any baby doing it, like on they're in downward dog the whole time. So it's like, it's not, and I remember in this video that we'll link to of the Orthodox priest explaining why Christians shouldn't do yoga. And someone says, like, my doctor has me doing these physical therapies for at home, and I think some of them are yoga positions. Should I not be doing them? And the priest is like, no, do what your doctor's telling you to do. That's not the point here. The point is not that you can't do some of these certain positions to stretch your body. It's the actual practice, the flow,
Which is an argument that some people have online is
Right.
that what if I go to the gym and I'm stretching and I'm doing yoga poses, but
happen
I
to do
didn't
it.
know that they were yoga
Right.
poses. And all these years I've been doing this stretch or that stretch and I didn't even know that I couldn't or shouldn't do that.
Right. Because again, like as a gymnast or a lot of different sports, you do a lot of these positions, the basic positions. So it's some of it there is like this gray area. So you have to use discernment. That's a big word that we use in Orthodoxy, is using discernment.
You can't fault yourself for something that you don't know either.
Right.
You can't look back and fault yourself for doing yoga when you didn't know about yoga. You can't fault yourself for being in a position that's similar to something that people do in yoga when you don't even know that it's something that people do in yoga. It's when it's the conscious and mindful decisions that we make to continue doing yoga or any kind of exercise that is not caring for your body in a holy way when we know that we're not doing it in a holy way.
Right. Because even, like I said, laying flat on your back, that's a yoga position. We all do that.
We all like flat on our
So
back.
it's and that's, I think, what makes it so confusing for people. And that's why it was so confusing for me. I'm like, well, I do these positions, like, and even in Pilates, you still do some of these positions, or in gymnastics or ballet, or, all these different activities, you do some of the positions. So that's where it gets confusing. And same thing, you meditate in yoga, we meditate in Orthodoxy. What's the difference? So there is all of
different
this.
gods.
Right. Right.
That's the difference, actually.
So it's the practice. It's the conscious decision to be practicing yoga and doing that flow from one pose to the next that is like a prayerful dance to the gods. That's the issue. It's not you sitting cross-legged or you doing a downward dog or just bending over and stretching and touching your toes. Like, that's not the issue. It's the practice, the full-on practice. So to go back, flexibility, I can do stretches and still be flexible. Strength, okay, so I'm not going to go to the gym. Not doing it. So, I did do some rock climbing with my boys. I do walk almost every day, but especially now that I'm getting older, I do need more strength things.
I can definitely send a 35-pound 2-year-old to your house.
Right. And I don't have
day,
toddlers to keep my mom
welcome
arms.
to carry him around the whole day.
No, that's
your
true.
Arms will just be
like
wonderful.
We've looked at
your
past
back
pictures.
might hurt a little bit.
Yes, I had more back issues
Your
when I
back
had
might
toddlers.
hurt more, but your arms, they'll be.
You
great.
got great arms.
You'll have great arms.
Yeah. So, I found like a Pilates on YouTube that I could do at home that's only like 15, 20 minutes, because I'm being realistic. That's the max amount of time I have to give towards something in a day to do that before.
Are you putting that exercise mat back into use?
Right. So I can still use the mat. So, it wasn't a waste of money. So I'm still using it. And then sweating, I do have infrared sauna, so I am able to do that to detox. People who might not have a sauna, you could go to like the Y. Usually they have steam rooms,
or you could just be a generally sweaty person like me. Then you'll just always detox
You're
every
just
day,
always
all
sweating.
day long. You're just
Yeah.
always sweating. Middle of winter, just
right. And that's
run
I mean,
around
I
your
run
house a little
cold, so
bit.
I'm always cold. And that's when people are like, "Oh, you should do cold therapy." I'm like, I'm always cold. I'm always doing cold therapy.
I live cold therapy.
So it was this surrender of, okay, I'm not going to do it, but I do need to find something else that I enjoy. And there are other different types of things that people like Pilates, or I know people like bar, which is more kind of like ballet-ish.
I like Pilates videos. I found a lot of like prenatal Pilates videos that over the years I had used before, and then I kind of give up on. But I make a really great YouTube playlist, and I'm like, yes, I will stick to this. I will do this 3 days a week every morning. And that usually lasts for 2 out of the 3 days, and then I'm done.
Yeah, I'm on a good month streak of not doing it. I've been walking though. I had a cough for like 3 straight weeks that you can still hear. I'm trying to get over. So I tried to honor my body. I wasn't going to push it. I did still go on walks, but I haven't. But I'm trying not to let that like derail me, and then I never do it again.
Part of the journey though is like listening to your body and being more in tune with your body. We were just having a conversation earlier today about getting lightheaded at times, and who knows what's causing it. I mean, in some cases, in mine, it was like iron at one point in time, but first at some point there aren't any specific things that are causing it. It's just
change in weather. Who knows?
You need to slow down, and your body often tells you things that it needs if you listen.
Especially as women, oftentimes we try to keep up with the husbands or your guy friends or whatever. And at the end of the day, God made us different. So our bodies aren't going to be able to work the same way as men. And my husband can power through and still go to the gym. And I'm like, I would never be able to do that. Like if he's sick, he'll still be able to do it. But like and we have cycles, and there's times of the month when
We just don't feel great.
yeah, we don't feel great, and it's not really great for your body to be pushing through. There's a reason why we have these 4 phases of our cycles, and we need to listen and honor that cycle that God has given us, even as difficult as it might be at times. But we have to try to see it as a gift, and that our abilities and our physical abilities, we have them as gifts, but also we do have limitations, and that's okay. Like that's okay. You're still a strong person, even if you have to take a break or take it easy.
I guess the whole concept and idea behind all of it is just that you need to care for your body. You need to care about your body. And caring about your body doesn't mean that you are as skinny as a twig and that you are, in maybe the best shape of your life, or you only eat the cleanest foods all the time. Never stray from it. It means that you, in your life, in your day-to-day life, you make smart decisions about things that will enrich your life, make your body good, honor what God has given you. It's not easy to live a quote unquote healthy life. It's not easy to tell yourself that you're going to get up and go walk or go do something every day, or commit to going to a gym or eating something that's good for you. It's much easier to grab a not so good for you food and sit on the couch and eat it. I'm just in my head replaying the cheesecake that I ate in my room before dinner tonight.
Before dinner, that's great.
It was before dinner. But the thing is that, like, in my day-to-day life, I try to make smart decisions and God honoring decisions about how to take care of my body. It doesn't mean that every decision that I have ever made is the healthiest or the smartest or whatever, but because sometimes cheesecake before dinner does sound good. But I also know that if you do that regularly and you do things that aren't good for your body regularly, that's when the effects will hit you really hard, and that's even harder to come back from.
Yeah, so let's talk about the opposite end of that, and maybe working out too much or doing it for the wrong reasons, for vain reasons. Now, there's nothing wrong with wanting to lose weight if you need to, or you feel, called to, but obsessing over it. Have you ever had that kind of experience or struggle?
So when I was a teenager, I did pageants. I don't know if you know this, but for a few years, and I did really enjoy doing them. And the reason that I really enjoyed doing them was that, and this is a very like pageant girl thing to say here, but the reason that I enjoyed doing them was that it gave you a platform to talk about things that you were passionate about. So for multiple years, I was talking about the Celiac Foundation and gluten-free living. I also did some things for St. Jude's Hospital, and I was just really passionate about the things that I was able to educate others on that they didn't know about and bring awareness to things.
You had a platform.
I had a platform. Mm-hmm. But part of beauty pageants is that you are marching around on a stage being judged for how you look. So I would say that yes, there was a time when I was younger that I did feel like there was a pressure to look a certain way, but certain things that I did took the pressure off a little bit, and that actually was one of the things, surprisingly. I feel like most people that look at pageants don't look at it as something that is honoring and teaching women to care for their bodies. But for me, it had kind of the opposite effect. I won't say that I loved every aspect of pageants. There were some not so great aspects of them that kind of drew me away from them overall. But I feel like anything that teaches young women that taking care of your body is good can be a good thing. I didn't have the struggles when I was a teenager a lot of times of body image. My body image struggles and accepting how I looked and how things were changing really didn't hit me until motherhood. And I feel like that might resonate with a lot of people, because for me, I was not someone that had my weight fluctuate a lot in high school. I was pretty steady. Like, I have still in my closet clothes that I wore in 6th grade, like a couple shirts, because my size was pretty similar all through high school. But when I had children, it's difficult to see. It's beautiful, but also difficult to see your body so drastically change in a fairly short amount of time, and then afterwards not go back to looking like it did before. And learning to accept that it's okay that you don't look exactly like you did before, as long as you appreciate the body that you have now and you continue to take care of it where it is now.
Right. You're not being ignorant to what you're supposed to be doing, eating and doing.
Yes.
It's just how life goes.
Did you feel like there was ever a time growing up or even now that you've struggled with body image or how?
I mean, kind of similar to
looked?
you. I was actually always super skinny. Oftentimes people would tell me I was too skinny. I was a gymnast, so I was shredded.
Yeah.
And I'm not
Like a twig with a lot of muscles.
Yes, like I'm not like a stocky type of person. So I was just skin and muscle and bone for a long time. And so I quit, I think I was around 13, 14. And so then that's when my body finally started going into, was allowed
Became a
to go
teenager.
into puberty and all those things. But it's still like through high school, I stayed thin and I was active and didn't seem to be able to like put on weight until college. Then all of a sudden, I can't eat this all you can eat buffet that's all
A
paid
cheesecake
for
every night before dinner?
and go out drinking and do all these things. Like I can't do that and not gain 15 pounds. So after my first semester, I realized, okay, I can't go to the food hall for every single meal and eat all of the food that I want to eat. Like I need to be a little more wise with my choices. And I need to be more active. I need to be doing some sort of exercise of some sort. So I did do the gym then. And this is why I hated it. Ugh. So, and then obviously living in New York City, working in the hospitality industry and the entertainment industry, there's a certain expectation of what you should look like. So there was always that expectation, but it really wasn't a challenge for me. Like I said, I am.
Your body, like everyone's body is naturally built differently.
Right.
So if your body is naturally built that way, as long as you take care of it, then.
Right. So now I'm finding, now that I'm like entering perimenopause and I'm getting older, with hormones and after children, I'm starting to lose the strength and lose the muscle and, body's just shifting a little. So I do see an importance in trying to keep strong, to not lose that, because I don't want to be a feeble, weak, old person. Like I want to still be able to get around and not be completely in pain and, for years. So I see it as important to keep active, but to try not to obsess over the fact that my body might not look how it did for so long. And that's okay. Because I'm not wearing bikinis anymore, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, exactly. Like if we aren't wearing bikinis anymore and we're wearing one pieces, then it's like
Yeah.
all is fair game, right? No more exercise needed. We'll just cover it all up.
Right. Yeah, it varies at different stages of life for women, and your own struggles, your own genes, your own upbringing. Thankfully I was raised on home cooked meals, and my parents had, organic gardening. They did, had a garden, and my dad would hunt. And so I was raised on good meat and potatoes, like quality food. But I know not everybody is raised that way. And so everyone's going to have different struggles of having to peel away the onion layers of where you came from and where you're at.
When I think of exercise as a whole, I want to go back to how we can help other people. Because for us, we've kind of recognized that being active is something that we have always done. You grew up doing gymnastics. I grew up doing basically every sport under the moon. And I mean, I rode horses through college. Like, I was still doing very active things, and you were doing very active things. And we have just kind of shifted our focus into what we are doing now. And one of the things is giving easy steps for people that might be listening to this that aren't living an active lifestyle. Where do you start? Where do you start taking care of your body without overwhelming yourself? Because jumping full force into something might be for some people, but generally you just get very burnt out.
My number one advice is walking. You read any scientific studies, walking is the best form of exercise. Better than running, better than biking. I don't know all the scientific specifics, but I know personally I'm not a runner. I've never liked running.
Same. I've
but
tried
walking,
to make myself a runner.
If I don't walk, my back, I notice my lower back, I have issues. But if I go for a walk, it just helps stretch, move everything just naturally without even having to stretch. But just the act of walking just helps loosen your whole body. Not to mention you're outside.
It's free.
It's free. It's fresh air, hopefully some sunshine. If you're lucky like me, last week I saw a rainbow.
Wow.
It was amazing. And of course I didn't have my camera.
With all of our rain.
Yes, we had lots of rain, and there was 1 hour.
We still have lots of rain.
There was 1 hour that I saw on the radar that we weren't going to have rain. So I was like, boys, let's go. We're going out for a walk. And so it was still kind of drizzling off and on, but I was like, oh, the sun's coming out. Let's look for a rainbow. And all of a sudden it was the most beautiful rainbow. The entire thing from in the middle of the field over my neighbor's house to the next field. Even my dog was like, wow. But these are the gifts
and
that you
receive.
Creation. These are the gifts you receive
Rejoice.
when you go outside, you walk, and you enjoy God's creation, whether you're walking or hiking or biking, But I think that's my easiest, the best way. Anyone, even if you live in the city, you can go walk. You live in the country, you can go walk. That's it's free, and it is the best form of exercise. So I always say that's the best place to start, especially if you are a mom with kids. Kids like walks too.
Kids like runs.
Well, either they're running and you're walking, or they're in a stroller, or you're a baby wearing. That was our reset the day. We're gonna go for a walk. And so everybody feels better because everybody gets that exercise. And my boys still know that. Okay, we're going for a walk. It's our afternoon exercise. Everybody gets their fresh air and sunshine and all of their emotions out.
And you get to witness beautiful things. I was just thinking back to this. We just attended a retreat recently, both of us, a women's retreat. And one of the speakers was talking about being outside and being mindful and just expressing that she had seen a tree release its leaves.
Oh, yeah.
And she asked if anyone else had ever seen that. And I was thinking, I don't think I ever have. I don't think I've ever just gone outside and just like sat and watched a tree release its leaves. But things like that, when you go
Right.
outside, you get so immersed in creation that you get to witness things that you might have never noticed ever.
Right. So walking, gardening, those types of yard work, those are all really good forms of exercise.
Grounding,
Grounding with your bare feet, hugging a tree. But if you want to be active, like in the summer, I don't walk as much because it's so hot and I don't want to go for a walk, but I'm out in the garden in the mornings or the evenings when it's not as hot. And so that ends up being more of my exercise in the summer. So, I mean, you do what you need to do, but even in the winter, it'll be 3 feet of snow and I put on my snowsuit and my snow boots. I put on my,
kids in winter,
my,
they love it.
my balaclava, however you say it, and my fur hat, and I go out there even if I have to wear goggles. Like I'm out there
Yeah.
walking. It might be like half the walk because I'm trudging through snow, but I go and I do it because what else am I going to do all day? It's really snowy and I don't want to be in the house all day. And it's not only do you feel better emotionally, or your back might feel better, but digestion, it's so much better for you to go for a walk, especially after meals. I know for me
There's
personally,
something about that winter air. I'm not a big winter fan, but when that winter air hits and you just like breathe in the crisp, cool breeze for like a minute or two, it hits different.
and
It really
freezes your
does.
nostril.
It might freeze your nostrils a little bit, but my kids get dressed and they go and play outside for like longer than they do in the summer.
Yeah.
My oldest, he loves winter. He has been asking when it's going to be winter for months. He saw the leaves start to change because we are blessed to live in a place that experiences all of the seasons. He saw the leaves starting to change like a month and a half ago. And on our ride, when he noticed, he was like, the leaves are changing. I was like, yeah, it's almost fall. And he goes, that means it's almost winter. He was so excited. And my kids have been running around our house wearing ski masks that came from your house that your children have outgrown. My kids are like running around and they're like, pretty soon it's going to be cool and we'll get to go outside. So kids love. If you need some motivation to be active, just have you seen the videos where people follow their children around and do what their kids do for a day? Just do that.
Right. There you
That
go.
is like,
The best workout
that
ever.
is the best workout ever. So those are some really good tips for people that are completely starting out, have not exercised at all. I also want to address, before we get way too far off the topic of yoga, I'm sure you thought we were moving on, Anna, but we're not. Before we get too far off of the topic of yoga and exercise as a whole, I want to remind people that they need to be gentle, like I was mentioning earlier about how you express your opinions on things. And it's part of what we want to do in this podcast. This podcast is not here to tell the person that is watching that we are right and you are wrong, and
Or judge anyone.
that we're here to judge you for it, because that's not what we are here to do. We are,
well, we've been there.
We've been there.
That is us.
we've walked it,
Yeah.
and we're sharing how we've gotten to where we are because of what we've learned. Maybe you will listen to this and feel similarly. Maybe you will listen and it'll take a little bit,
It might take you
more
a few
time.
years.
Many years.
Like it did us.
But the key is to be gentle with others, to be kind to others, and to be kind to yourself and this journey that you are on. I have a couple best friends that still do yoga regularly, multiple days a week. And I've been invited before they kind of knew my stance on it to do yoga. And when you tell someone that you don't do something, they often get very defensive about it because it's something that they're passionate about. It's something that they enjoy doing. It makes them feel good. And I'm always very careful because, and I try to express that I don't do it for, sometimes I'll tell people a reason. Sometimes I just leave people, like leave it at like, oh, I don't usually do yoga anymore, but thank you for inviting me anyway. But if you do open up a little bit and they get a little more defensive, then it's typically time to back off. I'm not saying that we shouldn't share with others, but our goal is to not make others feel like we are judging them, because it's not our job to judge other people. It's not their job to judge other people. God is the only one who is making judgments over decisions that we have made. So go ahead, do what you want to do. My husband often says too, people outside of the church, they don't know. He's like, we can't hold, people that don't know accountable for something that they just don't understand or that they don't see anything wrong with.
Or even inside the church.
We
church.
were both born
we were both
raised in the church.
Yes.
And we just didn't know.
We're on a journey and everyone has their own walk, and it takes people different times to get to different places, and that's okay.
It is okay. And that's what I just don't want people to think, that we are here to tell them that they are wrong, because we were wrong once too.
And we get it. We
get it.
We get the struggle. We get the confusion. We get the,
and we're still wrong in decisions that we might make. We're still learning. We're still exploring what is good things to do for your body.
And I don't think it ever stops, because this world is fallen, and there will always be something that you come into contact with or whatever, and it's new. And you don't really know, should I do this? Shouldn't I? We have AI, we have all these things.
Approach everything with discernment. That's what I have learned. The older that I get, the more I learn to have discernment for things that I have not been exposed to before. We should always be careful jumping into something, exposing our children to something, exposing our family to something that we don't really know about. Do some research.
And if you're in doubt, pray.
Talk to a priest.
Pray to the Lord. Help guide me. Show me if I should do this.
See how it feels in your heart after you've prayed about it.
Yeah. And it might take a while. The Lord knows our hearts, even when we don't. When we were talking about, not exercising for vanity, but for vitality. And St. John Chrysostom says, exercise self-control in all things, not only in food and drink, but in every desire. I love that. So pride and vanity and all those things, and our reasonings for exercising in the first place. Is it to glorify God, or is it to look better or appear better, feel better even sometimes? It's okay to want to feel better or look better, but what's our main focus? So real quick on the idea of meditation in yoga, because sometimes people think that Christians shouldn't be meditating, but that is a practice in Orthodox Christianity, is to meditate, specifically either meditating and trying to clear the mind completely and not think of anything, or of saying the Jesus prayer, Lord Jesus Christ, Son of God, have mercy on me, a sinner, over and over and over, as long as you're able to, or whatever your goal is. So that is a good practice, just not in yoga.
In conjunction with things that aren't
right.
Christian.
In conjunction with a Hindu prayer.
Yeah.
So again, it's that there are good things in yoga, but there are also bad things in yoga. Take the good, leave the bad. But we unfortunately cannot mix the two.
Yes.
And that's where that confusion lies. Like, oh, there is some good, but there's some bad. So you got to.
But there's also some better. So take the good in it, apply it to something better.
Right. Yeah. So I'll try to do my 15 to 20 minute Pilates. And then I have a little rebounder, and I will jump on there for as long as I can while listening to Abbot Trefon's short clips of different quotes of saints that he's reading. And so I'm like just listening to those, and it has like the words, so in case I can't hear it. But it's really, my boys will just stand there and they'll listen while I'm doing that. But
watching you jump around.
watching me jump on the trampoline for once and not them.
Yeah.
But it's, I just a few minutes because I can't do it for long, but being able to listen to these quotes of church fathers helps me to be able to bounce a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Keep my focus. Like, I'll make it to the end of this quote.
Yeah.
So I guess whatever you do, this is from Colossians 3, verse 17. Whatever you do in word or deed, do everything in the name of the Lord Jesus, without mixing Hindu prayers into it.
It's beautiful.
So yeah, we just want to find peace through simplicity. We want to move, we want to breathe, and we want to live in the presence of God. And that's all we can do.
Absolutely. And that's exactly how God wants us to live. Thank you for tuning into Veiled in Grace. We're an Orthodox women's lifestyle podcast. If you liked what you heard today, be sure to like the video, leave a comment, subscribe to our channel, all of the things that you should be doing. The more that you help interact with our channel and our podcast, the more it helps spread it to other women.
Yes. And like she said, feel free to leave a comment, or if you see one of our reels or something, to share it on your social media to help others find our channel and to create this community of women supporting and lifting each other up. And also, if you do have topic ideas or questions, or even share struggles that you've had with exercise or yoga, and that can be helpful for other people who might be watching or listening. So we thank you, and God bless you.
What shall I render to